Hey, do you have a habit that you wish you could change? And you try and you try and it just doesn't seem to work. You're like, if only I could change that habit. Well, here's a tool to help you change that habit. I'm your host, Jordana del Feld, and here is today's tool about habit changing. So, habits are our brain's way of making life easier. Once we create a habit, the behavior becomes automatic and we use decision-making energy for other things. The way a habit is created in the brain is a physical wiring together of a group of neurons. As the habit is established, the wiring becomes stronger and more efficient. This is why it's hard to change, but this is also why it can be changed, because the brain is super flexible and is always rewiring itself. A habit has three parts: the trigger, the behavior, and the reward. So the trigger is what sets the habit in motion. Sometimes it's obvious, like when you get out your toothpaste and your toothbrush, you put the toothpaste on the toothbrush and brush your teeth. But sometimes it's not, especially if it's an emotional trigger. You may not even realize what the trigger is because it's subconscious. The first step to changing a habit is to become aware of the trigger. How do we do this? You slow down. Be mindful and notice what is happening before the habit starts. Just take a moment, make very clear in your mind what this habit is that you want to change, then make a note of it. Okay, now make a list of possible triggers. As you pay attention, you may find other triggers, or you may find that these are not the actual triggers. Be really curious, really wonder, be open. At this point, you're not trying to change the habit, you're only noticing what you do before it happens. Okay. Next, the behavior. It's easy to identify because this is the habit. So, if your habit is spending too much time on Facebook, you know what that looks like. Take a moment, notice, and make a note of what your habit is. How does it make you feel? How are you benefiting from it? Because we all benefit from habits, even if they're unhealthy and we want to change them. So we have to recognize what they're doing for us so that we can find a good replacement. Remember, mindfulness is being open and curious and questioning and inquiring without judgment. So have compassion for yourself, be kind. Just take a note. What is the habit? How does it make you feel? How are you benefiting? How are you benefiting from it? And now the reward. The reward, like the trigger, is sometimes easy to identify and sometimes not so easy. For example, if you bite your fingernails, you might not really know what's rewarding about that. It is probably emotionally soothing, or it stops the trigger, which could be anxious feelings or other unpleasant emotions. Take a moment to ask yourself and make a note of what you think the reward might be. The exercise of noting your habit may have already given you some insight into this. And now take some time to think of other things that give you the same reward. the same feeling, the same positive feedback. Get creative. Come up with as many as possible. Now it's your job to find a replacement. So, once you've identified the trigger for your habit, you are on your way to changing the habit. And now it's time to find a replacement habit. You want to find something that fits the trigger and is easy to do instead. So at first, it might not be as satisfying or as easy or as comfy as the original habit, but with time you will begin to rewire your brain. Remember, it may have taken a long time to build up these pathways in your brain, so it may take a long time to change them, but it is possible. And lastly, be sure to check in with yourself and really ask yourself, evaluate, how well is this working? Does this replacement habit really satisfy? The solution might not be obvious. Try as many different solutions as possible and keep on trying new things until something clicks. And good luck. May the force be with you.